Hello there, this is Antoinette and welcome back to our channel. Part of etiquette is showing respect and kindness to our fellow human beings and thinking about others first and making them feel comfortable around us. So in line with that, today I have a few pointers that will help you with your race relations, especially in the workplace. And who better to speak on this matter and educate you than someone who is black and has suffered racism in a number of different ways on a number of different occasions, even in the workplace. I've worked in corporate, the public sector, and even education, and I felt the nasty effects of racism, so I know that I'm in a good position to talk about it. So if you haven't already done so, it will be a good idea for you to go and watch the introductory video to this series so you get context into why we're doing this and who it's for. Now in today's video, I'll explore some of the things non-black people may not have known or were blindsided to, with the aim of bringing these things to your awareness so that positive changes can be made, particularly in your places of work. Now, if you want more in-depth examples or details on the proper behavior required to proactively make a difference of long-lasting change in regards to race relations, then feel free to contact us for private training courses that we provide. Okay, so without wasting too much of your time, let's just jump straight into it. Here are some of the pointers that we feel that you should take into consideration when interacting with or trying to build a relationship with a black person or a person of color. And for employers, this information will help you change the foundational culture of your organizations and companies for the better. Now, the first point is stereotypes, generalizations, and assumptions. And I think this is one of the biggest hindrances in good race relations, particularly in the workplace. And a very common example that I myself have experienced on a number of occasions is being on the receiving end of comments like, "You're not like other black people," or "You don't sound black. When I heard you on the phone, I didn't think you were black," or "You're not like the rest of them." These comments are all wrong and steeped in racial biases, prejudice, and can be very offensive. Now, although I make it a practice to point out and correct people that make such statements to me, regardless of who they are, you must understand that a lot of non-white people may not feel comfortable or even brave enough to rectify the wrong being bestowed on them on a regular basis, for fear of jeopardizing things like their jobs or their roles or how they're perceived by others in their team. Now, having taken a mental risk assessment, many black people would rather not rock the boat or react and not falling for the stereotype that has indirectly been created for black people. For instance, not wanting to come across as that angry black woman. So if you want to be anti-racist, you need to begin to become aware of what you're saying and think about whether or not what you are saying might come across as offensive. I need to point out that what a lot of people do is so ingrained and so subconscious that they don't even know that it's wrong or it could be seen as offensive. So moving forward, just keep your antennas up, and the more you practice it, the better you become at spotting when something you're about to do or say might be wrong. Now, because we're all human and all make mistakes and we're all still learning, you're bound to make a couple of mistakes along the way, even in your newfound awareness. So if you fumble, apologize. Don't try and justify your behavior or become defensive. I'm sure the other person will really appreciate it. And in regards to generalizing and making assumptions, something many of us do, it's best to view every black person you meet with a new lens, meaning that you get rid of what you've been taught, may have heard, what you've even experienced with black people. Making assumptions can be very costly on how you're perceived and how other people interact with you, and whether or not you're making that other person feel comfortable around you. No two people are the same, and you need to show and treat everyone with the same level of respect, grace, and opportunity you would give your fellow man. Now, although this may sound very basic, a lot of people still fail to realize this very critical point, the point that assuming all black people are the same or look the same. Just like Caucasians, black people have several different cultures, and there are people of different ethnic backgrounds. For instance, Africans are different from Caribbean people, who are also different from African Americans, and although we all share the same commonalities, there are many differences between the different groups. There's also differences in our history and experiences, and this is not a history lesson, but it's very important that you know that there's a difference in experiences, and you can't just clump up all Black people as one and the same. Bottom line, if you're trying to develop peaceful and mutual engaged relationships with your non-white colleagues, then like any other relationship, you need to take the time out to find out about their background, find out about their culture, what that means to them. Education really is the key to awareness. And when you know what to do, you'll become more confident and keep educating yourself in this area. This leads on to my next point, which is the Black experience is different from other ethnic minorities. It's a very common misconception that the Black experience is the same as other people that are also classified as ethnic minorities. In the UK, we have the term BAME, and I believe in the US, they refer to this group as BIPOC. So although these terms serve the purpose of grouping non-white people into a category where they're not the majority in the population, clumping these minority people into one group constitutes to a lot of confusion, as many people now think that all these people now share the same experience, when this could be further from the truth. Just like white people, all BAME people or BIPOC people don't have the same struggles, experiences and histories, so they can't be all lumbered together into one group. Their unique experiences are thereby overlooked or deemed as non-essential or not a valid cry for help. So to give context to what I'm saying, a Black person can still be racially offended by an Asian person. Other people, including people of colour that are not Black, can perpetrate anti-Blackness and enforce racist behaviour in and out of the workplace. So it's very important to understand that not all races suffer the same level of oppression and racism, so therefore cannot have a grouped experience. It can't be compared. Don't turn a blind eye to colour in the bid to show unity. A lot of people say that they don't see colour, but that very statement comes across as offensive because we all have been made with different colours. This is something that should be celebrated, but unfortunately today we see a perversion of this, and it causes division. Acknowledge that even though we're all one race, the human race, we still have different ethnic backgrounds. So don't turn a blind eye to what is obvious. Try and understand it, try and learn about it, try and educate yourself in that area, and it will help you see other people's perspectives. Finally, and I think this point is very important as well, you need to refrain from touching Black people's hair. I did mention in the first point that you should think about what you're saying before you speak, and the same follows for your actions. I've lost count of the number of times my hair, especially my natural hair, has been touched by someone, not only at work but in public spaces. It's very rude and offensive, especially when you don't know that person. Now, a lot of non-Black people are genuinely curious to find out how Black people's hair feels, but I think you have to have known that person well enough before you even think about wanting to touch their hair, because this can be very upsetting for the other person. You need to treat other people how you'd want to be treated, and I'm sure you'll get very upset or even angry if a random person just comes up to you in the mall, for instance, and starts touching your hair. So for a lot of Black women, their hair is an expression of their self and their crown, and it's also very popular for Black women in particular to wear weaves, wigs, and have their hair braided with extensions as protective styles. This is why one week they may have their hair short and coily, and the next week it's long and straight, and the week after that they may carry a fro. So just be mindful of that and considerate that even in your learning, you don't overstep the boundaries. So again, just be cautious. If you're not well acquainted with that person, it's best to just back away and not do something that may be offensive to that other person. So in conclusion, I know talking about race relations and racial issues is very uncomfortable, and this is why many people tend to avoid these discussions, but we must be willing to make the mistakes rather than not having the conversations at all. This will help us progress forward and have a better understanding of our colleagues in the workplace, and will make us more professional. It will create a better working environment that's safe for everyone regardless of their race. It's time we right the wrongs, and I know it's going to be a process that is step by step, but it's better to start off now. So that's it for now. We'll cover some more areas in the next video, and again, if you're serious about making long-lasting, impactful change, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel, follow us on our social media platforms so that you can get regular updates and information. So until next time, bye for now.